LifeLock, how can I help?
The IRS said I
filed my return,
but I haven't.
1 in 4 tax-paying Americans has paid the price of identity fraud.
What do I do?
My refund, though. I'm freaking out.
Don't worry, I can fix this.
LifeLock fixes identity theft guaranteed and gets your money back with up to $3 million in coverage.
I'm so relieved.
No problem. I'll be with you every step of the way.
1 in 4 was a fraud-paying American. Not anymore. Save up to 40% your first year. Visit LifeLock.com/podcast. Terms apply.
Are you a lifelong fan of General Hospital?
Are you a new fan who wants to know more about the history of the show?
Do you enjoy talking about the show with others?
Do you find yourself yelling at the TV?
Is your self-care an hour a day in Port Charles?
If so, we invite you to join hosts
Amanda Kimmel
and Shannon Coach at the place where all the hidden conversations take place and secrets are revealed.
Meet us at Pier 54,
a General Hospital fan podcast. Hello.
Hi.
Welcome to the General Hospital recap for February 24th through 28th, 2005. Lucky's back.
Thank goodness.
Okay, so because we were so mad about the Lucky thing, we failed to mention that they finally cast Tobias. We finally met him.
We did.
So sorry about that.
Yeah.
It was eclipsed by
right. We were like
Lucky.
He met Aiden's friend, and we just kind of went into our rant. So yes,
yeah,
we met Tobias.
Yep. And that's the other thing too, is that also robbed, that entire thing was a robbery, because Aiden was so worried about telling Lucky. And it was one thing for Lucky and him to have that beautiful moment where Lucky's like, I'm so sorry that you felt concerned to tell me, like that he hasn't had that relationship with his son, that his son felt comfortable enough and wasn't worried about it. You know, a lot to Lucky that it, and I don't mean like nicely, it impacted Lucky a lot. My son was scared to tell me.
Right.
You know, they could have had that be such a nice bonding moment for Lucky and Aiden, because we didn't even see Aiden look in on Lucky and Tobias and see, wow, it's not even like Lucky was making an effort. We're not going to call him Lucky. He's flaky. Oh, we shouldn't say that either.
Okay.
Just thinking how they called him Fake Luke.
I know where you were going with it.
Okay. Oops. So, but they could have had that moment with Aiden seeing how much Lucky really just accepts him.
Yeah.
And kind of tearing down a little bit more of that wall that Aiden has up right now. And he does, because he has not been stable for him, and he's used to him. If he has been around, just leaves and doesn't want Liz to get hurt, you know, and that could have been a nice moment for
right. I mean,
Aiden and Liz to look in on, you know, and have her say, listen, you know, your dad is here.
Right. I mean, that was the question all week we heard this week. Several people were like, so is Lucky staying? Is Lucky leaving? What's going on? So it would have been a nice reassurance that at least for now, he's here and he's supportive. But yeah, they did that whole scene wrong, and I wasn't much happier this week. So, but do we have any pipelines to get through first?
We do have a few Port Charles pipelines. First, we've been in communication with someone that's going to be really exciting, but we're not going to talk about it right now.
I can't wait.
And then we have Piper. Piper just says, love the podcast. Thanks for the notice about the PC pipeline submissions. This is my first one. Piper, welcome Piper to the pipeline. Have Lulu and Maxie ever discussed Lulu taking her house back? I either missed it or it hasn't been addressed, but I think that would be an important conversation. At a minimum, I would like to see Maxie say thank you for the use of your house, since it totally revived her family situation. Piper, we did talk about it for a minute, because that's James. Lulu told James, this is my house. And he's like, no, we live here.
The girls never sat down and had a conversation about it, though.
Did they, though? Because when did they had that conversation about Brooklyn and naming Bailey Lou? So it was like, you know, in honor of Lulu. But yeah, I don't think that they talked about it with.
No, I don't remember them talking about it in any way as far as like, oh, thanks, or hey, maybe I'm going to want this back in a year, or anything like that. So.
And it's not like Dante even gave her a heads up. Hey, by the way, because she did see Dante first. She saw Dante before she saw Maxie, right? So she did see, although, yeah, because that didn't even come up either, because Lulu made it to her house.
Yeah.
And so the first conversation with Dante was not, oh, hey, by the way, you know, Maxie needed a house and yours was sitting empty.
Yeah, they never discussed it like that.
And Laura never mentioned it either.
Mm-mm.
So no Piper. I don't think that we have discussed it in great detail. I think we just glossed over it when that whole thing happened with James, because that's a very good point.
Yep.
Or even like, is there an extra bedroom? Why isn't Lulu potentially living there with them? I mean, could be a little cramped, but
I don't know.
she's just fine at Laura's.
I mean, I assume eventually she'll look for an apartment, but she also doesn't need a whole house to herself because I don't see Rocco living with her full time.
Mm-mm.
So
No, not now. Well, wait, where is she living?
she is at Laura's, but I
Okay.
would have thought that she would have gone, like if she needs to make a move, that she would just be another person to add to the Quartermain clan because
Well,
she's
especially
so
since how
close
much
with
Tracy loves her.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And if her and Brooklyn hopefully are going to work out their differences now that she has heard that Brooklyn can't Chase can't father a baby, then there's no reason that she couldn't live there.
And also, she has when she woke up, Jason was living there. And so, yeah, even though you're not getting along with Brooklyn, and I hate that if I can do it, you can do it, because that's not an accurate statement, like ever, unless every single thing in the person's life is exactly the same as yours, down to
Right.
the last detail. It's not an accurate statement. But to see Jason finally move back into the house, despite everything, Lulu should look at it as, okay, so they're open to people moving in, and maybe we could have this conversation with Brooklyn about, hey, I'm moving in. Because Brooklyn did not come out the gate swinging. It was Lulu. And fair enough, 4 years ago, they were not getting along. And Maxie was not Brooklyn's friend. So, yeah, she should be staying there at least. I mean, now she should go get the gatehouse now that Willow's moving out with the kids.
Yeah, that would be great.
Okay. So TBD. But that would be nice because that way she could be near Rocco too. So,
Yeah.
see. Or maybe Chase and Brooklyn should move down to the gatehouse, because now Violet's not in the house, and that's why they moved in there initially anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So have them move down to the gatehouse, have Lulu move in to the main house.
That would work, yeah.
Okay, cool. We just solved it.
We did.
Thanks, Piper. Thanks for leading the way. And then Holly just sent a message. OMG, Carly has the giant scissors too. Adults do not have scissors on their work desks. I mean, seriously. So I do have scissors on my work desk. They are size appropriate scissors. They are
Okay, good.
They are, however big that is, tiny scissors, like in a cup on my desk in the office.
Got it.
I think that was it. But yeah, like what do they need that big of scissors for?
I don't know. And I just don't see in her job description that she's really cutting things.
Right. Like anything that they need that big of a scissor for, they probably have a shredder.
Right.
So yeah. Yes, I also noticed that, I guess maybe as a weapon.
In that
So
case,
to
it would
be
make
fair,
sense.
though,
Carly might need them.
I have scissors in my car console, like right down in the little one, like right below my vents. I have scissors there as a weapon.
Okay.
Just in
Do you
case.
need me to buy you a bigger pair so you can be like Carly?
Yes. No, they probably wouldn't fit in there, but they are the bigger scissors, but they fit nicely and they kind of hide.
Okay.
Remember when Erica started driving my car, she was like, why do you have scissors? I'm like, it's a weapon. So I can stab someone.
And she was like, I mean, I know you're crazy, so I'm not surprised by your crazy.
Listen, one day when they save my life, everyone's going to be like, huh, that's why Shannon had scissors.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Quick clarification, only because one person came out asking this as to what the inappropriate content, it is adult content, is why we are not answering anything on social media and not opening anything.
Yes.
That is the reason.
Yes.
Yes, we hate spoilers, but those can come to email too. No, they can't. We don't like spoilers. Do not send us spoilers.
But a spoiler, we can kind of flip past, and whenever you're being bombarded with adult content, it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
They're not subtle in their titles.
But I'm also not doing it for work either. Like, I don't know if something just happened recently with Facebook and Instagram or whatever, that suddenly there's a lot of bots that are doing that. But I put up the same exact message for my real estate also. It was just, listen, due to increased,
adult content
messages.
Yeah.
I forget exactly what it says, but it's something along those lines. And it's just, you have to email me. I'm not going to even open this.
Right.
I don't know you. It's not being opened.
Makes sense.
Yeah, so that's it for the pipeline. I don't think there was anything in the news or anything this week.
No.
Yeah. Cool. Hulu headlines. Sonny and Laura reconnect on Monday. Jocelyn is rattled. Trina opens up about Kai. Dante breaks difficult news, and Ava gets a surprise visitor. On Tuesday, Nina's presence irks Drew. Carly and Brennan discuss their budding relationship. Jordan and Portia connect. The walls close in on Jason, and Alexis makes a request. On Wednesday, Trina and Kai share a romantic moment. Carly pleads with Willow. Jocelyn makes a life-altering decision. Brooklyn is thrown by Chase's suggestion. Tracy makes a move against Drew, and Stella surprises Curtis. On Thursday, Lulu is suspicious. Trina confides in Stella. Ava, did she talk to Stella? Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
she did. She did.
Yeah.
That's right. Yep. Never. Well, but she also confided in Ava. So, but yeah, because she had a little bit of paint on her.
Yes.
Stella didn't know that she was taking a painting. Sonny receives a warning. Carly is shaken. Dante counsels Chase. Really, I said this before, but I really like that they're having them talk about this, guys.
Yes.
And then on Friday, Ava and Kristina argue. Sasha receives an apology. Molly opens up to Cody. Olivia pitches an idea to Carly. Isaiah questions Jordan. So
Yep, all that happened.
Starting. Where are we starting?
So I'm going to the end because I was annoyed by it. I'm so tired of seeing Kristina and Ava argue and this poor Molly crap with Ric jumping in. Like, come on. Ava absolutely knew what she was doing whenever she walked over to Kristina and Sonny's table to talk about Avery. She could have waited until dinner was over and right before Sonny left be like, oh, Sonny, can I catch you for a second? Just wanted to confirm that I'm picking up Avery at this time, blah, blah, blah. She totally did it on purpose. Kristina was, for the longest time, showing restraint. Why are we having her flip off the handle again for no reason? Like, Sonny already told her that this was the custody arrangement. She was already mad about it. She already whatever. So whenever Ava said what she said, Kristina should have just kept her mouth shut and moved on. And then Molly, I'm sorry. I'm not saying it's easy. I'm sure it's difficult to have parents that don't get along. But at the same time, you're a grown woman. Like, okay, keep yourself out of the conversation and move on. Don't give Molly another thing to whine about. That's all she does.
But at the same time, I mean, she removed herself from the situation, which is an adult thing to do. You know, she was like, you know what? I'm not staying for this. You guys be stupid together. I'm going to go. And I'm really liking her and Cody. Even if they become friends, I think that we're moving towards them possibly not just being friends. She's never really had somebody to actually vent about this stuff to, because TJ was always TJ does not have the same family experiences that Molly does. And so he did the best that he could, that he couldn't even comprehend some of the struggles that she was having. It's the same thing like you and I, like we have experiences that are very similar, that friends of ours who have never had to go through that, and we don't want them to.
Right.
You know, it's nice that I have somebody to talk to that understands it, but I wouldn't wish it on anyone, you know, and it can be difficult to try to talk to somebody who literally can't even and not that they're not trying. In most cases, people at least try, but they can't even comprehend what we're talking about because of how ridiculous it seems.
I guess I just hope that they're careful with where they go with it, because I'm fine with Molly and Cody getting closer and them sharing life experiences and her having someone to talk to. But I don't want her to get caught into this is another thing to sit and whine about. Like, again, she's dealt with it for her entire life. I'm not saying it's easy at all, but her parents know that she doesn't like it. Like, whenever he was like, well, tell them that it makes you really uncomfortable and that you wish they could get along. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out that she wishes they could get along. They know this. They fight anyway. It's just unfortunately, they aren't adult enough to not interact that way. So you just have to let it be.
There's a good chance that Molly might wind up at the cutoff point.
There's a good chance what?
Molly could wind up at the cutoff point.
Right. But she doesn't want to. She doesn't want to get there. So walking out was her best option, and I'm fine with that. But if I have to listen for the next 6 months of her whining every time she sees Cody about how her parents got into another fight, no.
Yeah. But that's also kind of what she was complaining about. She was like, why does this have to keep happening?
Well, it felt like every time she talked to TJ about her family, she whined about Kristina. Even before the baby stuff, she was always whining about Kristina. So I don't want it to be a new relationship or friendship, whatever they're going to be. It's just her whining about her parents all the time. Like, Molly has to have some depth to her besides whining about her family conflicts.
I did like that Cody, he had some good input. He had some good input and gave her some advice without telling her what to do. He did the I like feel felt found. It's, oh, I felt that way. You know why I didn't tell Mac that I was his kid? Because I didn't feel like I was good enough for him, and at least shared like his perspective without, I mean, yeah, when she got the phone call from Alexis and hung up and he was like, you said that, but she had said, I'm going to.
Right.
And she didn't. And so then he said, but you were going to, but he didn't harp on it. He made the comment. She was like, yeah, it's going to take some time. And he's like, okay. He didn't lay into her about, well,
Yeah,
this was your chance. You should have done it, blah, blah. He was just like, okay, it'll happen when it's going to happen. I think that the thing is though, when you have people like that in your life, you have to find a moment where they are both being calm and rational to have that conversation with them about how their behavior makes you feel. And often that is just not going to happen.
right.
Even if you try, even if you're like, okay, we're going to go to lunch at Port Charles Grill in the middle of the room.
We still know. Yeah, we still know how that would turn out. We've seen them have screaming matches. So, yeah, like I said,
I just like when Alexis told Kristina, that, and I forget what she said negative about Ric, but she did not know that Molly was not there. And it doesn't matter. She badmouthed her daughter's dad right then and there to another daughter.
I think Molly was still there for that. That might have been what made her get up and leave, because I'm pretty sure she was still sitting there whenever she was like, that Ric is a jerk, blah, blah, blah.
Right. And I mean, we've talked about this with our own exes. Like, we'll talk to each other about some stuff. Like, I've never shared those kind of feelings with my children because that's their dad.
Yeah.
Honestly, at this point, it's been 20 something years.
Right. The kids are smart. They figure it out on their own. Yeah.
Exactly. We don't have to say anything. And Ric's been out of town for how long? And he actually, I know you don't like Ric. He actually really hasn't done anything other than the standing up for his daughter for losing her daughter and defending Ava. Like, in that instance, he did hold back until Kristina saying, my daughter, and he snapped as a dad.
Yeah.
So
I just feel like he should have known better than to get involved. Like, I'm like, I know Ava was trying to start a conflict, and so she got what she wanted, but I just felt like even if Ava was being immature to try to start the conversation, there were so many other players in that why were we all just not more mature? Like, I guess I'm just tired of it. Like,
right.
Molly. Yeah. I guess I'll agree with her there then. Yeah. It's just like, let's move on from it. Not saying that Kristina can't have the feelings that she has, but like, she knows by now screaming at Ava is not going to bring her daughter back. It's not going to change the verdict. It's not going to whatever. And Ava doesn't even care. Like, it's not like Ava's already gone through her own emotions and been like, it wasn't my fault. We went through the trial. They found me not guilty. Like, I'm good with it. So
Ric was calm explaining that to Kristina.
He was.
Again,
he was
calm. And he's like, listen, we went to trial over this. Jury of her peers.
Right.
It was a jury of the peers, or was it the judge?
I think it was a jury. I think it was a jury. Yeah.
But either way, they followed the proceedings as they were supposed to. And
right. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, we don't have to spend that much time on it. It's just, I'm tired of seeing it. Like, we've been watching it for years. Just grow up. Or at least let it go for in the moment. Like, know in your brain, I can yell at you about this, but it's going to make no difference.
Well, and especially since that scene at Bobbie's happened after Alexis told Ric privately about Cyrus killing Sam. And Ric was very consoling. He was like, he dropped the bickering, he dropped their hatred of each other and immediately like hugged her and was like, I am so sorry. Like, that's just
right.
So why did she suddenly, other than the fact that she became a mama bear and this guy was yelling at her daughter, but at the same time, listen to her own advice.
Yes, but at the same time, Ric also should have shut his mouth because he should know that the girls are all going through something together. Like, Christina's hypersensitive right now because she just found out that her sister was murdered. So
Right.
why don't you pull Ava aside and be like, listen, I'm never on Christina's side. I don't like her, but their family is going through some stuff. Can we just stop?
Yeah.
Just stop.
Very true.
So
That was hard when Dante had to tell them all that Sam was murdered.
yeah.
And then Alexis also told Drew, and they decided not to tell Scout until she's older. So I was really glad to hear that they are going to tell her, but not right now.
Right. When it's appropriate.
Because right now, Mom died a hero.
Yeah.
But obviously, the internet's still going to be there when Scout gets older.
Right. Exactly. So Drew did one good thing this week by deciding that. Everything else was scum.
I'm not entirely convinced that he didn't make that decision, if not for anything, for him to not have to do it, for him to not have to actually take care of something.
Oh, that's true. That
because
could be.
when Alexis said, you can do what you want, but I don't think it's a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
He took that and was like, yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Then he didn't want to bother with it. I was disappointed that when it came to the whole Jason alibi thing, that they worded it like that. Why didn't someone jump in? And I know they were telling Anna to stay away from the case because now it would moved up to the DA, blah, blah, blah. But why didn't Anna interject first and be like, so we heard that Jason broke into your house yesterday. Did you want to press charges? We're getting him on some other things. And then Drew would have totally been a jerk and been like, oh, yeah, I do want to press charges, blah, blah, blah. And then they'd been like, boom. Okay, what time did he break into your house at? How long were you arguing with him? All right, there's the real alibi. Instead,
Ooh, I like that.
Once you told him you're going to save your brother by being his alibi, you knew he was going to lie.
Mm-hmm.
Anna should have been smarter.
I like that. I didn't think about that.
Yeah, if they would have posed it in any other way to him, he would have been honest.
Also, why aren't they using cell phone data?
Right? Or I'm sure Drew has a Ring camera.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
I think that it's going to be interesting when Drew is found to be lying.
And then Willow, who actually made the right choice last week and was like, no, that's not right for my kids, blah, blah, blah. This week is like, oh, I can't believe that they would ask you to give an alibi that wasn't true and blah, 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 blah. And so, yeah, now I think I need to move in with you. What?
Yeah. I loved Carly. You are in love with a man that doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Or you're having an affair with a man that doesn't exist.
Yeah.
I did like that. I like that Carly is, obviously she's not happy with Willow right now. And she has said, a few times about how she's hurting Michael and stuff like that. But she's really trying to get through to Willow. What happened to you? What's going on? Why are you doing this?
Right. And her point was perfect. Even Willow has to eventually sit back and process it. Of all people, why would Jason go to Drew thinking he was going to get an alibi if it wasn't true?
Right.
But there's no way that it makes any sense if it wasn't the truth. She has to see that. She knows. She saw him with Sasha the other day. If he needed a made-up alibi, he would have said Sasha. He knows that they know that Carly would always lie for Jason. He would have said anyone except for Drew if it wasn't true. She has to see that.
Right.
So I don't know. So what do you think's in Drew's safe?
Nina wants?
Mm-hmm.
Really good question.
There's not going to be, first of all, she's not going to tell Willow that they were sleeping together. But even if she was, there's not evidence of that in the safe. So what does he have in the safe that's going to prove that he's a scumbag?
Splinod stuff?
Maybe.
But what would he have other than...
I don't know.
He wants to back Sidwell on relocating it. Unless he does have evidence of him and Nina. I don't understand why Nina, she has to know by now. This is not going to end well for her, and Willow will find out.
Right.
I really don't know.
Nina didn't seem to know what she was looking for. She just said, there has to be a safe. I need to look in it. And I loved Maxie being like, I can't tell you anything, but if you happen to look in that folder, and Nina instantly went to pick it up and she was like, can you wait till I leave, please? I at least want to have some deniability here.
Right, exactly. Just And back to the Jason thing, he's like, oh, so now you're using me as my role in Congress to, and no.
No, that whole thing was just, I get why the DA has to take the congressman on his word. And so makes sense. But everyone else in that room, including Willow, should have been like, wait a second, this doesn't make any sense.
Right. I did like how Anna complimented Jason on when she had to question him about Cyrus being dead. And he's like, well, if it's that clean, he's definitely dead. She's like, yeah. And that's the kind of work that you do, or the quality of work that you do. And he was like, thank you.
Thank you, except for, do you really think that I would have cleaned it that well and then accidentally left a trace of my DNA behind? Like, come on.
I can't with Brennan. He had to know that Joss would not be okay with framing Jason.
Mm-hmm.
Or is he really not aware? He should be very well aware of, that's how he got close with Carly, was because Carly wanted updates constantly when they were going to save Lucky. She was in his office like every single day. How did he think that was going to go down? He's probably thinking that they're not going to be caught. And so Carly's never going to know.
Right. But he just keeps saying there's no body, so he won't be prosecuted. But you hear the prosecutors say that's not true, because the threat that Jason made was you won't be able to find the body.
Right.
So, I don't know. I have faith in Diane. She'll get him off because he didn't do it, and that's what matters. But
she pointed out he put being a dad ahead of his job.
Yes.
And she wasn't saying anything wrong with it.
No.
That's what you did, and that's...
Right, that's what changed. Because she said, it's not like you to lose your temper. And he was like, well, he had his hands on Danny, so...
Yep.
I like seeing him softer. And, he's always cared about his kids. It's nice that he can show it now.
Mm-hmm.
So...
I like that Jason and Sonny had that whole conversation at Bobbie's out in the open of, I can't find Cyrus, and pretty sure they think that I did it. And Sonny's like, I wouldn't blame me if you did. But then Joss is going to take ownership of it.
She 100% is. I don't understand what Brennan is thinking, especially with Jason being accused of it. But even without Jason being accused, I don't think that Joss can do what she says of just like, oh, it was for the greater good. Somebody had to kill him. I was the one who did it. Oh, well, and move on from it. It's going to haunt her.
And she even said to him, why the heck? I did like that they reminded when she said something about him offering her the job again. He was like, I literally told you this last week. So it wasn't as though it was being presented for the first time again.
Right.
But she pointed out all of her flaws. She's like, but I did this. I did this. I did this. Like, she owned it. She's like, I was kind of ridiculous. Like, what the heck are you talking about? And he's like, well, when Kristina fell, you jumped right in. So she was lifeguard on duty.
Right.
It's what they are trained for. I was choking on something once on my couch and my daughter was in her room and she heard me and she immediately ran out and tried to do the Heimlich. And then I had to explain to her after, we can't just do what we see on TV.
Right.
But her first instinct was to come save me. She should be in the WSB.
Yeah.
And according to his reasons, we should all be in the WSB.
Right. No, it makes no sense. I understand she has access because she's young and whatever, but I'm sorry, she's not the only young, pretty girl out there. So someone else could do the job. And
it's not that she's not smart, but she even said, I have to say yes, because if I don't, you'll blackmail me. And it's like, yes, take that a step further. What is he going to do in addition to that? He is also going to use you. He's going to use your connection to Jason, to Sonny. He's going to use your mom, who Carly just goes and visits Brennan and is like, thank you for coming over and fixing my plumbing. And if you had stayed later, I would have let you fix more plumbing. Like, right. Different plumbing. Sorry, that was a really bad joke of that she was going to let him stay the night.
Yes.
But it was completely pointless. It's not like they happened to see each other and he was like, hey, has the sink acted up anymore? And that conversation naturally led to that. She sought him out just to go tell him, by the way, if you had stayed, I would have let you stay, but then I would have regretted it.
Right. That could have been a text message. Like, oh, I appreciate you fixing the sink. You make it tempting to not invite you to stay or something like that. If she wanted the conversation, I'm sorry, but she should know from their relationship by now. And I feel like just most men in general that, if you would have asked him to stay, he would have stayed. Like, it was like she turned into a teenager again. Like, I don't, you probably would have turned me down. I don't know, blah, blah, blah. Like, what? That's not Carly.
Right.
She's misconfident. She'd have been like, yeah, you'd be begging to stay, but I couldn't let you because my daughter was there.
Right? Right.
I don't know what they're doing.
It was weird.
It was. The whole interaction. It was just because they wanted her there whenever Josh showed up. But he could have asked Carly to come for some reason. He could have sent Carly more flowers or something that she then came to thank him for, which I still don't know that that would have warranted a visit. But okay, something. Anything.
Made sense.
Yeah, anything more than, I just stopped by to tell you that if you wanted to stay the night, I would have let you, but then I'd have been mad. Okay.
Yeah. So weird.
Yeah. I liked that Trina called Joss out, though. It was like, where are you? That you're not answering your phone? What's going on? And she's like, oh, I lost it. I'll just go buy a new one. And Trina, in what I feel like would be a typical college student, was like, you're just going to go buy one? Like, do you know how expensive phones are? You're not going to look for it more? Like, what the heck? And then she explained, no, actually, she broke it 'cause she was mad at Dex's apartment. And that's why she didn't have her phone. And Trina still was kind of like, no, you just seem off. I'm not sure what's up.
But Trina's like, seriously, call your mom because she has blown up my phone. You know, you have to get this figured out because I can't be chasing you down just to give you messages.
Yeah. And
I
then
don't know.
Joss, in like typical college student way, was like, okay, so now that you know that I'm fine, tell me about your date with Kai. What happened?
Yes,
They were so cute.
they were.
I really liked that like whole idea of him looking into the art stuff further and being like, no, we're going to work on this project that's like the entire town works on and whatever.
I think that's a really cool concept too.
And then they painted their own paintings, and Trina's like, oh, I don't have any skills. Like, I'm the worst, blah, blah, blah. And Kai's like, yeah, I don't know what I'm doing either. Meanwhile, both of those paintings, like, you'd hang in your house if someone gave them to you.
Right. It's not like it was even paint by number or
Right. Exactly.
some kind of like somebody came and sketched it and then you painted it in the colors that you wanted. It was 100% their own.
Yeah.
But I don't know. There's just something about doing something in quiet near somebody. Like they had little conversations, but they were obviously focused on their thing. Like one of my friends that used to live near me or next to me, she would just text me like, you just want to have wine and read? And we would just sit on her front porch and read and have wine. And it's like we were just reading different books, but we were
that's fun.
Yeah, she makes fun of me. She's like, I've been gone for 7 years. I was like, but you don't understand. I'm like, I don't have that anymore. Like you moved and you have that with somebody else now. I mean, we still talk about books and stuff, but I'm like, I didn't get a replacement. You did.
Yeah. And it's not the same being able to just walk next door as it is like, oh, I'm going to drive over.
Exactly. You know, but just being able to sit in quiet and do something near somebody that you're enjoying and they're enjoying what they're doing. And it doesn't even have to be the same thing. You know, I don't know, some of my favorite days are like when my husband's just doing whatever it is that he wants to be doing and I'm doing whatever but like we're still just near each other. I don't know if that's making sense.
Yeah, no, I get it.
But just seeing them and seeing Kai stick up for her to his friend and basically ask her, why didn't you tell me this? Why didn't you tell me that he threatened you essentially? Or Kai's handling this very, very well.
Yeah, he did a good job. And she was like, I mean, I didn't really believe what he said, so I didn't bother saying anything. And he was like, well, just so you know, he told me and I put him in his place and was like, she did not distract me. And he brought up a good point that he said last week too, of I was playing the best game of my life. Like, what are you talking about? I wasn't distracted. It was a freak thing that happened.
Yeah. But he was even talking about before he had the injury, he had been talking about taking his studies more seriously because a career in athletics is not guaranteed.
Right.
And it's longevity or even starting. So, yeah. But I guess he even said the way that his friend Quinn is thinking is if he can blame Trina, that means it's not going to happen to him because he doesn't have that. So there's not a chance of that happening.
Right. Right.
And I can understand that.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Especially at that age, you know.
But then
apparently Quinn's family is friends with Nika. And so they did get the hookup. It wasn't even that.
Yes.
So there was actually a hookup there. I liked that. But then he tells Quinn, oh, and that's how Quinn found out. was because he said, yeah, it turns out Trina's dad's the owner. And then he realizes, oh, you took Trina there. That's if I had known it was Trina, I wouldn't have helped you.
Right.
Why didn't you ask?
Right. That seems like a typical thing that you would say to someone, whether you were giving them a hookup or not. Like, oh, you have Valentine's Day plans? Who with? But then when they're doing the painting, Trina almost falls off of the ladder and he catches her. Which I was concerned about his arm, though. Like, be careful, buddy. But
He's
caught
probably
her.
pretty strong still on the other arm.
Yeah. But he caught her and then they had their first kiss. And I like that she initiated it. Like, he was giving her the look like, hey, and she was the one who went in for it.
And it was really cute because like she did like a little giggle and like it actually made me want to look up, are they actually a couple? Because it was kind of, I don't know, it looked fun. I mean, and it was, but it looked like an authentic, natural first kiss. You know,
Yeah.
it was cute. Totally related to her with the, oh, so that's what this view is like up here. I do that to JD sometimes. I'm like, so this is what it's like to be a foot taller. Okay. No, but I like them. And I like that she's having the conversation with Ava and Ava is supporting and she's like, this is the first time I've seen you happy in a year.
Yes.
You know, and
They
Stella was
corrected
kind of,
us, though, because last week we said, isn't this Trina's first Valentine's Day without Spencer? And they corrected us and said, no, last year was her first one.
because it had
Ava,
just happened. It was last January, wasn't it?
yeah, because then Ava said, like, think of how far you've come in just the past year.
Mm-hmm. Still around the same time. So I feel like even though he passed right before Valentine's Day, I don't know, I guess you're still stuck in the initial grief at that point that you might not even, not that you wouldn't have noticed that it was Valentine's Day, but I don't know. At least for me, like that's how I'm thinking is, okay, if he died at the end of January, Valentine's Day is 2 weeks later. If it was me, I'd be like, of course this is happening now, but you're not actually having like a Valentine's Day.
Mm-hmm.
Like this for me would have been the first. I mean, and I don't know because hopefully I don't have to ever deal with that, but that's just my thought.
Yeah.
But yes, it did happen last January, not later. What else?
Oh, Selina coming to see Brad at the hospital and was like, hey, Cody's debt is now your debt. So here's your letter of resignation to turn in. And he was like, no, that's not fair. And she's like, I don't care. That's how this works, you know? And then Portia comes out and is like, Miss Wu, if you don't need medical care, then get out of my hospital. And so then they met afterwards and he's like pleading his case to her about, I need to go on this trip because it's my chance to get back with Lucas. And I really am enjoying my job. Like, I don't want to quit. And Miss Wu is kind of like, well, what do you have that's of value to me? And so he gave her the test results that show that Portia changed Heather's cobalt poisoning levels. And she was like, okay, now your debt is paid in full because she's totally going to use that to go get Curtis's club.
I don't get it though, because Brad just shot himself in the foot because there's only one way for her to get that information.
Yep.
So he just really did himself no favors, at least in terms of his job that he wants to be keeping.
Yep.
And he's smarter than that. I didn't understand because Brad did not broker that deal. Like he told Selina, like Cody was already aware of you. He just kind of told me he was going to do it. I was not involved in making that connection whatsoever.
Well,
So
he made that one phone call. He did make that phone call because Selina wouldn't work with Cody anymore after the last whatever had happened. And so he was the one that had made the phone call to say, I have a sure bet for you. Cody's got this money, blah, blah, blah. But Selina knew the risk to begin with. Like, come on, leave Brad alone.
Yeah.
I was just disappointed. Like, obviously Brad's smarter than that, but also I was just disappointed because I feel like even though Brad doesn't like Portia, that he really didn't want to throw her under the bus. Like, he used those results to keep his job because she was being unreasonable. And yeah, he's used it to get a couple extra favors here and there. But at the end of the day, I don't feel like he wanted to cost Portia her job or any harm to come to her. And now that he gave the information to Selina, it's like, yeah, it's definitely going to be used for bad.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess he's just hoping that when Selina uses it against Curtis, that Curtis doesn't say anything to Portia and just covers it and is like, okay, here you go.
It's an interesting thought. No, because of the conversation he just had about Brad with her.
Right. And the fact that she's going to question, why are you suddenly selling your club when you said no so many times before? She's not going to just let it go, even if he didn't want to.
Or is Curtis going to use Selina's influence? Because at some point here, Selina and Sonny are going to have to stand up to Sidwell. That's a lot of S's.
Yep.
What if Curtis uses Selina's influence to help their cause of keeping the Esplanade where it was supposed to be, where it's initially been, and helping to, like I said, stand up to Sidwell? I don't know exactly where my thought is with this right now, but I feel like there is something there that if Selina comes to him with this, he could be like, oh, shoot. Because Portia told him that she tampered the results, right?
Did she?
I thought that she told him about Heather's.
I didn't think she told him that she messed with the results, but I could be wrong. Because I feel like then she would have told him about Brad.
No, she didn't. Because what's going to happen is, so if Selina goes to Curtis and says, I have this information on your wife, Curtis is going to go to Portia. And I mean, they're automatically going to go to Brad. Like, that's the thing.
Right.
Like, Curtis is going to think about Brad ahead of time and say, listen, Brad's after you. He's creating this false evidence, whatever. And then
she's going to have to admit, yeah.
Yeah. But what if he can use it and not tell Portia?
Right.
Figure out a way to use Selina to help.
Yeah, that's an interesting conflict. Like, I would like to see Sonny go to Selina and mention all this crap with Sidwell, because that's another enemy that Sidwell shouldn't want. And Selina and Sonny, although they, work for different families, they want the same thing. They've found not necessarily a friendship, but
it's an alliance.
Yeah, they want the same thing.
They are not partners. They are competitors, but they're also not going to let somebody else like that infiltrate. It's like what Laura and Jordan and Curtis were talking about last week, and Anna.
Right.
It's better to deal with the enemy we know or the enemy we don't know.
Right.
It sounds a lot more dangerous. Ooh, Sasha.
Yes. And Lucy's just like, well, it can't be that bad, blah, blah, blah. And Sasha's like, no, he had me in a room with a bomb. Like, what are you talking about over the fact that he was mad that my mother took his diamonds? Give me a break.
Yeah. And Maxie's like, is that true? And he's like, well,
it was never reported, so.
But then Natalia she didn't side with him, but basically said, this is the easiest way to get what we need.
Yeah.
She hated, you could see on her face the whole time, she hated everything that she had to say.
Right.
Because he didn't even say it like in a way that was going to be blackmail-y either.
No. He was just very like matter of fact. I have what you want. I'm the easiest way for you to get it. And you want to get it before the other company does. So you should deal with me.
Jordan stood her ground though with him saying, nope, Esplanade staying where it was supposed to be.
Yeah. Which is,
I don't know, the whole thing, it better have a good ending. It better have a good.
Right. There needs to be a real reason for why he hates Sonny so much. And Sonny and Jason finally said, like what we said a few weeks ago, of it's not a coincidence that he showed up the same day that the penthouse was bombed. Thank you. So I'm glad they're finally looking into that, or at least aware of it.
I really liked Lucky and Christina's conversation about, it was Cyrus, right? Yeah, they were having the conversation about Cyrus because Lucky pointed out, if you basically kill him, you're doing the exact same thing.
Right.
And he's like, there have been many times where I've been faced with this, and he's like, I can't because, and that's where he's not like Luke.
Yes.
That's where he is. Sonny talking to Laura about how he gets his strength and stubbornness from them, but he gets, he gets his strength from her and the stubbornness from Luke and Laura.
I loved the conversations about Lucky. I loved Lucky talking to Kristina. I didn't like that Liz ran in and kissed him. That felt weird. That felt like
we have seriously just been robbed of this entire thing, because I sat here waiting for it. I waited for my feelings and they didn't come.
No, because he wasn't part of that kiss. She came in and kissed him and he made the joke, I hope you don't greet all your patients that way or whatever. But it wasn't like that romantic, looking in each other's eyes and then having to, it wasn't like what we saw with Trina and Kai, where it's like, oh, I just need to kiss you or whatever. She it felt too soon for that. If they had been dating for the past 6 months or something, and then she saw him in the hospital bed like that, yes, okay, should go in and kiss him. But second kiss like that?
But that's the key word, second. If that was the first kiss, that would have been great.
Right, because it would have been like unplanned. Like, I just saw you and I had to kiss you. Yes.
Right, because she had just finished talking to Felicia about
Mm-hmm.
the loves and
Yep.
like all that stuff. And so, yeah, that would have been, if that were the first kiss. And then
Yep.
that would have also been great that Liz was the one to initiate it because,
Mm-hmm.
but I mean, I'm happy about it. We're obviously getting what we wanted, and I'm sure we're going to have a super romantic, just giddy all over feelings kiss at some point. But they robbed us of it the first time.
Yeah, they have to stop messing
There's
it up.
no way that they can't because, like Lucky said, I hope you don't greet all your patients like this, whatever, you know. She even said, we don't have to talk about anything right now. I'm just so glad that you're alive.
Yeah.
You know, oh, he would save her 100 times if he had to.
Yes.
Okay, see, there's the feeling, but I didn't get it then.
Right. The words are there. It's just the actions, they're misaligning.
It's because they did that to us.
I'm sorry.
This would all be different if we just didn't have that one stupid kiss.
Yep, I agree. All right, what else? Because we don't want to dwell on that for another hour.
I did like Lucky talking to Sonny and Sonny hearing him talk about how Luke told him, it's not your time, cowboy.
Yeah, that was sweet.
Okay, see, now I'm sad.
Yeah.
Okay. I did like him giving Lulu a hard time, though. He's like, I can't let you get all the attention.
Right. She's like,
and it's like, since when?
My thing. She's like, it's my thing to be laying in a bed unconscious. What are you doing?
Right. Oh, Lucky talking to Isaiah.
Yes.
That was very, seriously, just get me out of here. He's like, I can't.
Right. Have to wait till you're cleared.
But then Isaiah tells him that Liz is a remarkable woman.
Yes. Yeah, I liked him. Like I said, I thought it was cute. Kristina went to visit him because they have their partnership from Charlie's going on. So I like that relationship being built up. Like, I liked all of his conversations. It just, the kiss felt weird. Like, it was bad timing.
She also has things to learn from Lucky that she didn't get the opportunity to when she was younger about how to be an adult living in this world with the dads that we had.
Right.
And not getting involved in those things, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then everyone's just talking about, do you think Jason did it? Can you be mad if Jason did it? We kind of have to thank Jason if he did it. But at the same time, that wasn't the right thing to do for Danny. So now we have bad feelings about that. I feel like 90% of Port Charles had that conversation this week.
Right.
Alexis was like, I asked him not to, but I'm not sad that Cyrus is dead. Kristina said the same thing. Like, yeah. And Lucky was like, it's not my place to kill someone if it's not for self-defense. So I can't tell you what he did or didn't do.
Yep. And Martin feels bad.
Yes. That was sweet. And Laura's like, don't feel bad. It's not your fault. Our brother's just a creep. I don't know what else to say.
Right.
I don't like talking about family stuff, all the Brooklyn crap still. I didn't understand that. Chase comes to her and is like, I have the perfect solution on how this baby can be related to both of us. We'll just have Finn be the donor. And it's like, what? No, that would be so complicated. And I don't see Finn just doing that. It would be weird. And then
I did like that she was like, did you actually talk to him about this? And he's like, well, no, but the thing is, it wasn't, he ran to her with the solution. It would have been one thing if they were, I mean, how many times do we spitball stuff and then we're like, oh, wait a second, that's stupid.
Right.
You know, if he had blurted it out and gone, no, never mind.
Yeah. You felt bad for her because she was like, absolutely not, but I don't want to break his heart when he thinks that he's come up with a solution and I am not willing to do that solution. But then they moved on with all the Geo crap of he saw Sonny and Sonny gave him money. So then he comes home and is like, here, Lois, Sonny told me to give you this to pay for my trip, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, I know you guys are family, but you just feel like so much closer than cousins. And then we see Brooklyn give him a hug and Lois get that look again. And it's like, just stop. And I also wish that Lois would say, because Brooklyn's questioning, like, she's come to peace, but at the same time, she still has questions about, like, does the kid know that they're adopted? this and that, blah, blah, blah. I wish that Lois would say, I don't know much, but I do know that the kid doesn't know that they're adopted, because I feel like Brooklyn would drop it then, because she wouldn't want to mess up her kid's life and confuse them and whatever. I think that she would make peace with, okay, I can't have a relationship with them then because I'm not going to blow up their life that way, and we can move forward. Instead, Lois is just standing there not saying anything, and then, I don't know, it feels like they're pushing us towards Brooklyn's going to try to get the records and blah, blah, blah. And then what, she's going to blow up Gio's life? Because he made that comment this week when they were arguing about Tracy filed a cease and desist on Drew for the Quartermaine name. And he like butted into the conversation and was like, it may not be my business, but although I didn't know my dad, I was still proud to have his last name, like foreshadowing that he's going to find out that Dante's really his dad. And it's just, and her saying, Tracy saying to him, you're not part of this family, but you'd be a more welcomed addition than Drew. And it's like, stop.
Okay, I kind of liked that, though, because she was definitely saying, yeah, your opinion, we're not really going to listen to it, but I respect the fact that you stood up for yourself, is how I took that.
If it wasn't going to foreshadow the fact that he is part of the family, I would be okay with it. But it was all those little hints to be like, no, that means we're going to come out with the truth, and I don't want it.
Well, because all Lois has to say is it was a closed adoption.
Yeah.
That's legally what that means, right? It's no one knows anything about.
So I think that closed means that no information can be given until the child is 18. And then
it doesn't have to be the child that seeks out, not the parent.
Yes, that's what I was going to say. Then the biological parent has to give permission if they want the child to be able to see them, to seek them out or not. But it has to be the child at 18 that says, I want the information, not that the biological parent is suddenly like, oh, I want to know where my kid ended up and looks for them.
Right.
Is my understanding. I have not done anything with adoption, but I believe that that's what it means.
Do you think Sonny knows?
I don't know. I didn't even question that he didn't know up until this week. No, Lois said no one else knows, so he shouldn't. But maybe he has an idea, because he's not that he's not always generous, but he was like ridiculously generous. I don't know. Yeah, he's not supposed to.
Because it was when Gio said to Lois as he was giving her the envelope, you and Uncle Sonny have always been. And I'm like,
yeah.
That's what made me think. This whole time I have not thought that Sonny knew. I've definitely thought Sonny, not a clue.
Right.
But maybe it was just the look on her face too that made me think, shoot.
Yeah. No, I had that exact same thought process. Like,
Lois does not have a good poker face. Why is nobody picking up on this?
Right. Well, I mean, no one other than Brooklyn knows that Brooklyn never even had a baby. So I get if no one else is getting her facial expressions, but Brooklyn knows her mom well enough, especially whenever she's saying things like, Ma, you're the only one that's ever had my back. And like, I know I can trust you. And I told Chase that I know that you're always in my corner. But the faces that Lois was making as she was saying that stuff, I feel like Brooklyn would have been like, Mom, what's going on? Like, there's something beyond, oh, I feel bad that my daughter's feeling these feelings, and I can tell by your face. So what's up? Do you have information? Do you know something? So I don't know. But yeah, I don't want them blowing the whole thing up. That's not how it was supposed to go.
Right. I did like that Joss and Gio talked about Emma.
Yes.
And he's like it's cute because he's trying to explain Emma to Joss. And she's like, yeah, so we have history, but I appreciate the fact that you are being friendly with her and that you are trying to help her, because it's almost like, dude, we've been trying to do this for years and she just doesn't listen.
Yeah,
you know?
Exactly. That was cute.
Joss never went to Jason. She said that she needed his advice. She never actually went to him.
No, she never talked to him before making the decision.
I think she's going to tell him.
I think so too. But I wish that she would have told him before she told Brennan she'd take the position. Because now she's gone for how long?
Right.
Because she said yes, and he was like, cool, you leave tonight. And then later on, we saw Trina go up to Carly and be like, oh, I didn't even get to tell Joss bye. She got this opportunity for this environmental trip and is just gone.
Right.
So, yeah.
What else? So Martin goes to Tracy and asks when the last time, because back to that cease and desist letter.
Yes.
First of all, I did like that Ned and Olivia brought it back to, if it was just Drew, 100% have your back, whatever.
Right.
But look at what you're doing to Scout.
Yeah.
And I think that I truly don't think Tracy considered that.
Right.
But Martin shows up to talk about the letter, and apparently the Quartermain estate has been overshot by about 20 feet, which includes the Quartermain crypt. However, real estate hat came on and looked it up. In the state of New York, someone can claim property line ownership through adverse possession if they have been openly, continuously, and exclusively using the disputed land for a period of only 10 years. In Pennsylvania, it's like 30.
Oh, wow.
So basically, if I were using my neighbor's land and there was no dispute about it for 31 years, it's reasonable,
yours.
like, right, through adverse possession. So the Quartermain crypt is not in danger.
No. And she called him out on it. So hopefully they'll do their study and know their real estate law like you do and be able to pull that out and be like, yeah, you're right. It was an error, but it was an honest mistake and it was made a million years ago. So there's nothing you can do.
A simple Google search. Martin's smarter than that.
Yeah. Like, but I think that he thought, like, I wasn't sure if there was any truth to it, period. I think that he thought just coming to her and saying that she was going to be intimidated and be like, oh, okay, I'll drop the suit, which, I mean, has he met Tracy Quartermain? Why would he think that? But
that's exactly
was the way
it
came off.
If he were saying that to, we'll just use Joss just as an example, like there's absolutely no reason for this to be happening. But no, not even Joss, because Joss would be like, doesn't sound right. I'm going to go talk to my parents. Trina.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's the kind of person that you would have to be talking to, because he knows the Quartermains, first of all, have crazy attorneys.
Right.
So they're going to get this taken care of. And
they have money. So if it's a matter of, I just officially need to show that I bought it, like the city doesn't want to rip down a crypt to claim this much land that borders your house. Like, they don't want that. They'll just be like, okay, pay us X amount of dollars and be done.
There was, though, I saw, I could be wrong about where it is, but I feel like it was in Texas that the township put up a building, like a shed or something, on somebody else's property, like on a farmer's property. And they built it over his fence. So that, like, it, but he won. They literally cut it in half.
Oh, wow.
So they can't use the building, but it's, I can't remember, but it's crazy. But I mean, that's the thing, though, is that he did it when they came and tried to do it. And he's like, that's my land. And then proved that it was his land. And so they were like, fine, we'll just take down this half of the building.
Mm-hmm.
So now there's like half a building standing.
That's so weird.
It's so petty. But exactly, you know, it's, so they probably already have.
Right. There's a solution somewhere, I'm sure.
Yeah. Well, when did Lila die? Alan died more than 10 years ago.
Yeah.
So
no, they're safe in it. It is theirs. But yeah, I like that Tracy was like, nope, I'm not going for this. And he seriously, it seemed like, thought that she was going to just say, oh, okay, fine. She would drop the cease and desist. And she's like, no, well, let's play ball. What's going to happen? We'll figure it out. But then I want to know what he knows about Valentine, because then in came Lulu and was like, I just want to know where my daughter is. And he couldn't get out of there fast enough.
I think he's just done with this. I don't think he knows. Do you?
I feel like he has to know.
Maybe up until this week.
I feel like he has to know. I don't know. I don't know what he knows exactly, but he knows something. So I want Charlotte back. So I want them to figure it out so that we can get her back.
Oh, back to Curtis. We saw him practicing his speech with Auntie Stella.
Yes.
Because her congressman friend agreed to meet with him.
Mm-hmm.
And then we saw Sasha frustrated at the Quartermain kitchen. Jason comes in and she's like, your mother is driving me crazy, which I was really surprised to hear that.
Yeah, I feel like she took that out of context, like, because she went on some ramble about, I don't want the Quartermains telling me where my kids go to school, where they do this, what they do with this, blah, 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 or what sweater to wear. And he was like, what sweater to wear? Like, that's random. And then she pulled out the bag and it was just a present. It wasn't, I didn't think it was anything more than I heard you're pregnant. Yay. I don't even know. Right. I don't even know that it has anything to do with the fact that they're assuming that Jason's the father. I feel like Monica would just give a baby present when she finds out someone in her staff is pregnant.
she thinks that she's going to be a grandmother. So she is buying the mother of her grandchild gift.
Yeah.
And she knows that Sasha maybe doesn't exactly have a lot of money. And so maybe she's just buying her a sweater, or she's just buying her a sweater for the heck of buying a sweater.
Yeah. I think it was just buying a sweater to be like, I feel like it was a good faith gesture. Like, so, I'm not upset about this no matter what. Again, whether it is Jason's baby or she is, air quote, just an employee of the household, like, I'm excited for you. I'm happy for you. Here's a present for your baby. I don't know why Sasha took it as a negative thing. Unless there was a note that she didn't discuss that said something, which I can't imagine Monica would ever do. So, yeah. I don't know.
And then Jason told her, though, like, he's always going to make sure she's taken care of and all those things. He's like, whether or not, what was it? He's going to make sure that the baby's always taken care of, whether or not they continue. Right. Wasn't it like something about that? Like whether or not they continue to say that she's.
Yeah. Cause she was saying something about if he gave her money, wasn't that like a bribe? And he was like, no, I'm trying to make sure that you're taken care of. Like it's nothing like that. And then Cody came in and he was like, oh, I'll leave. I'm sorry. I didn't know you were here. And she was like, do whatever you want. I don't care. Like you do whatever you want anyway. But on top of that, I'm over even being mad about it because what's the point?
And then Olivia goes to Carly. I like this, to help her rescue Sasha from the Quartermains. And they decide to offer her a job at the Metro Court in the kitchen. And then they'll move her out front. And Olivia's like, and I don't know, maybe you could even comp her a room. And Carly's like, oh, I'm in. Let's do this.
Right.
Because Carly's always liked Sasha. Like there was never even, well, I think especially after she found out that she and Chase sacrificed their relationships, she was definitely very much Team Sasha,
Right.
I think that's it.
Yeah, nothing else stood out to me. Like, this week wasn't boring, but it wasn't overly exciting either. It was just kind of like, okay, this is happening.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, basically.
Reality check.
So what's your reality check?
It was my birthday week. So
I forgot to say happy birthday. Tell everyone to say happy birthday to you.
Oh, well, thanks. Yeah, so I just my mom had to have a procedure, no big deal, on her back. She gets like injections, so it's not owie. And so I had to take her for that early in the morning. And then she was like, well, do you want to do anything? And I was like, no, actually, I just want to go home and like do nothing and be content doing nothing. So I dropped her off for her procedure, and I had to take Emily to school. So I dropped her off for her procedure. I went and got my free Starbucks birthday drink, and then I took Emily to school and got her home. And then later on that night, Madeline had dance. So I took Madeline to dance and then went to Nothing Bundt Cakes and got my free birthday bundt cake. And
I need to do that. I never go get my free birthday stuff.
Oh, you absolutely have to do it. I was mad though. Crumble Cookie changed theirs. Theirs used to be a free one no matter what. And now if you haven't made X amount of purchases during the year, you don't get your free one, which made me mad. But yeah, the Nothing Bundt Cakes was a good deal because then I had a coupon in one of our local papers that had buy one, get one free. And so that was what we used like for my happy birthday on my birthday. Everybody had their own individual bundt cake and it wasn't outrageous because I got 2 of them for free.
Very nice.
And then last night I went out to dinner with Matt and his girlfriend and just had some of my favorite drinks from the local place, Permanis, because I like to go whenever they're on sale. And I said that my birthday resolution was over the next year, I would collect 45 of the little ducks that they put in the drink that I like. So they were making fun of me. And then tonight we are going over to my mom's house to celebrate with the rest of my family. So
nice.
That is that. How about you? What'd you do all week?
Work.
Shocking.
Getting stuff done for my daughter, which is maddening.
But you're making progress, so good job.
I am-ish, yes. We just have to get over the hump with one of the service providers that tests my sanity at least twice a week. And I mean, I'm seriously not even exaggerating that. By the time I get done talking to them, I feel like I've been hit by a truck. I have to unplug. Like I literally cannot function for at least an hour just because of how they're just so disrespectful and condescending, and they treat parents like crap.
Yep.
And it's the worst part is it's a known issue, but it's just a thing. But there's a workaround, like you said, like there's something I'm trying to figure out to work around that I can share more when we have that all figured out. But my son's home. He came home last night for the week for spring break, and it's his last spring break. And he's totally my kid because my daughter texted yesterday afternoon. She was like, what are we doing this weekend? He's like, well, I work tomorrow at 4 and then I'll get the rest of my schedule for next week. And I'm like, but like, I'm proud of him because he's working, obviously, and he doesn't work. He doesn't have a job up at school. His schedule really is kind of not, he's applied to things on campus, but just haven't even received a call back or anything. So he's just always stockpiled while he's been home to help him with his car payment and gas and, whatever he needs in the meantime. But I'm like, but I had to work 2 jobs while I was going to school because I had 2 kids.
Right.
I still don't know how I did it because I am tired now. But
you were a lot younger then, no offense.
That is true. That is true. But yeah, so just getting ready for the week, being home with him. So yay.
Nice.
Yeah, not really anything. It was a fun week. Nothing happened.
Hey, like we've said before, sometimes no news is good news.
Yes, very true. Very true. But this upcoming Thursday, we continue talking about Lucky and Liz. Lucky and Liz. It's still Lucky and Liz.
Yes.
And I think this might be the last or the next to last.
I think
Jacob
it's the
Young.
next to last.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's next to last.
So, yeah, I guess join us on Thursday as we keep sharing the background of Lucky and Liz.
Have a good week.
And we'll meet you at the pier.
Bye.
Bye.
If you enjoyed today's show, we invite you to go to pier54podcast.com to subscribe on your favorite platform. Don't forget to leave us a review. And you can also follow us on many social media channels. Just search for Pier 54 Podcast. Also, we are not perfect, so if there is something that we missed or messed up, just let us know by emailing us at pier54podcast@gmail.com.